Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting, so please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting, so please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting, so please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting, so please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting, so please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting, so please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting, so please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting, so please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by. Hello everybody and welcome back to what is the preview, the Reprieve Media CIC preview of the third day of the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. My name's Paul Newman. I am the Director and Secretary of the said organisation, Reprieve Media CIC, based in Peterborough in Cambridgeshire in England. Right, what we've got coming up today is myself and my co-host Steve Allpress, who was on fantastic form yesterday, managing to give 4 winners in his selection, in his preview for day 2. We are going to preview day 3, and that's going to be the meat in between a quick look at the market sandwich. It's fair to say, where I will take a look at the Betfair markets for day 3 before and after the preview, to maybe we will try and ascertain if there is any movement on any key horses. We're about just over 2 hours away from the first race at the moment. Right, before we do that, a quick look as usual. We'll start by giving the Reprieve Media CIC website, and the website can be found at reprievemediacic.epeasy.com. It shows all the work that we've done since the organisation was incorporated, and in my biased view, it's well worth a look. Right, we're going to take a quick look now at the markets on day 3 of the Cheltenham Festival. Before we start, we're going to start with the 1:30, which is the first race of the day. We'll just give the website a chance to catch up. That's the trouble with a lot of these websites. Very clunky indeed. Here we go, finally. It's decided to open. The first day of the race, the 1:30 at Cheltenham. Currently we have £1,240,800 matched on the race. And we have a strong odds-on favourite at 1.8, Mighty Potter. Trading at 4 is Appreciate It. And there is no other horse Inside single figure prices for the 130. Stage start is 11s. Balco Coastal 21s. Couple of non-runners there declared this morning. Christopher Wood and Banbridge. We'll now head to the 210, which is the Pertemps final, I think. There's over £392,000 currently matched on that race, and the favourite is Thanks for the Help at 5.2. Maxim and Davy Russell 7.4. In fact, they are the only two that are available at single figures. Walking on Air is 11.5. That is actually out of Refinement. I remember that one going round. And Good Time Johnny 13.5. Antalur 15.5. And then there's another one at 19.5. Salvador Ziggy. Heading now to the 250, which is the first grade one of the day, the Ryanair Chase. And we have a favourite, just better of even money, with £662,000 matched on the race. And that favourite is Shishkin. 7.2, Blue Lord, and 8.8, Janadil are the only three in double figures. We've got Envoy Allen at 12s, Fury Road at 13s, Hitman 29, French Dynamite 32, GA Law 40, and Chacun pour soi, the outsider of the lot, at 44 to 1. Fascinating racing prospect there. And then the 330, the Stayers Hurdle. Currently, we have quite a strong 3.7 favourite with over £480,000 matched on the race. And that favourite is T Hapu at 3.7. Blazing Cow is the second favourite, 5.7. Gold Tweet, the French horse, is the third favourite, ridden by Johnny Charon at 6.8. Flooring Porter, 9.8. Classical Dream at 10s. Home by the Lee, 11s. Paisley Park, former winner of the race, is available at 29s. Ashdale Bob, 44s. Henri Lefarcourt, 65s, along with Sire Du Berlay, and Dashel Drasher is the 90 to 1 outsider of the field for the Stayers Hurdle. And again, a fascinating race in prospect there. 410 is the Mares Novice Hurdle. We have just over £280,000 matched on that race. This is actually the plate, not the Mares Hurdle, with £281,000 matched on the race. The favourite at 7.2 is another horse owned by Ireland's biggest gambler, So Scottish. 8.4 is Horton Colours, and 10.5 Il Ridotto and Midnight River. 12s, Marvel de Cerici. 12.5s, That's Alright Gino. And 14 to 1 is Fugitive. And 16.5, Ferrero Bamboo. And they are the only ones smaller than 20 to 1 in the whole race. Now, we're on to what is the Mares Hurdle. The 450, the Mares Novice Hurdle. And we have a favourite there with over £292,000 matched on the race. And that favourite at 3.2 is Lucia. 6.6, Lot of Joy. 10.5, Magical Zoe. 12s, Princess Zoe. 14.5s, Hulka de Taber. 15.5, Foxy Girl. And 17s, You Wear It Well, with available at 36s, Under Control and Jatara. So Lucia heading the market there. And the last race of the day, the Kim Muir Handicap Chase, with over £182,000 currently matched on the race. The 6 to 1 favourite is Stumptown. 8.2 is Mr. Incredible. 8.8 Dunboyne. They're the only three in single figures, with the two available at around the 13 mark, Beauport and Angel's Dawn. So there we have it, a fascinating start to the day. The markets beginning to take shape very nicely indeed. What I am going to try and do now is I am going to try and start today's previews from myself and Stephen Allpress coming up now. Can I just take this opportunity to thank Steve for taking the time to do this preview this year. He's actually been at Cheltenham. This is the third day, and currently Mr. Allpress has a 66% attendance record, which I'm sure everybody will agree is an absolutely superb attendance record for Cheltenham 2023. It really is. Steve, thank you very much. You're always a valued member of the team here, and thank you very much for taking the time to arrange these previews this year. Right, speaking of the previews, I think it's about time we tried to play them out now. So bear with me a second, and hopefully we will be with you back shortly. Starting with Steve Allpress's 2023 Cheltenham Festival preview. Steve, it's over to you.
Hi again, Paul. And this time for day 3 of the festival. The festival's really warming up now, and today we've got some real good races once again. Looking forward to the Turners Novices Chase. Obviously it's a real good renewal. We've got several real quality horses in that race this year, I feel. The Ryanair Chase is another race I'm really looking forward to. Obviously Shishkin's in there, one of my favourites. And we've got a competitive Stayers Hurdle again this year. 2 or 3 real good horses in there that have got great solid chances. And a race I've also been looking forward to over the past few months is the Mares Novices Hurdle. And obviously we'll come to that a little bit later on. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the racing here. And, it's going to be a good day, I'm sure. So yeah, I'll give you my selections as we go on. So we're going to start off with the Turners Novices Chase, a grade 1 over 2.5 miles. And I'm going to start off here with my fancy for the race, the Gordon Elliott trained Mighty Potter. Mighty Potter was a fair horse over hurdles last year. He didn't do much wrong other than his disappointment at the Cheltenham Festival. Clearly something was amiss that day. However, he did go on to the Punchestown Festival just a couple of months later, and he beat Sir Gerard from the Willie Mullins yard, and obviously that's top form. And since then he's gone chasing, and chasing was always going to be this horse's game. He started off his chase campaign at Down Royal. I would say he was workmanlike, to say the least, at Down Royal, but since then he seems to have gone forward another level. He then went to the Drinmore Novice Chase at Fairy House, and he had horses behind him that day, such as Banbridge, Gaillard de Menil, and the Adamantly Chosen, who was also going to be lining up here. He travelled well that day and quickened away nicely. He pecked on landing a couple of times, but it didn't discourage him, and he ran out a really nice winner that day. Since then he turned up at the Dublin Racing Festival, and he took on the similar horses to which he did at the Drinmore. Gaillard de Menil, Adamantly Chosen, Kilcrut and James de Burley were in there too. And I think that was the sign of Mighty Potter, that he might just be a little bit special. He made the odd mistake, but nothing drastic. He travelled well throughout the race, and just off the home bend he went to the front, and then when he was asked to go about his business, he quickened away nicely. I feel that Mighty Potter's a horse just coming to himself now, and I think we haven't seen what's truly under the bonnet yet. The word I'm hearing is from connections is there's plenty more to come from this horse. I feel he's going to get better with racing, and obviously the experience is doing him the world of good. And I feel like not just now but going forward to next season, he could be a horse that really does reach the top heights, whether it's the Ryanair or the Gold Cup. He's one certainly to keep an eye on. With regards to this Turners Novices Chase, I do think the softer surface is beneficial to this horse. He's quite a heavy topped horse, and I just feel that cut in the ground will help him out. It's not going to be an easy race to win, because obviously horses like Appreciate It and Banbridge, and you've got a couple of horses over from England in Stage Star and Balco Coastal. They're useful horses in their own right, and it's on paper it's a pretty hot race, but Mighty Potter would be my selection for the race, without any shadow of doubt. Of the others, I do think Appreciate It was tapped for toe a little bit in the Irish Arkle at the Dublin Racing Festival, and I feel the step up in trip will certainly help him too. He is at kind of the wrong age now for a novice chaser, but you have to maybe excuse that a little bit. He's not been over raced, and I do feel, as I said, the step up in trip will help him, and he might be Mighty Potter's main danger. Balco Coastal ran behind Jerry Colomb last time at Sandown in the Scilly Isles, and I do feel like 2.5 miles is that horse's trip, and he might be a horse that's improving also. So it's, as I said before, it looks a nice strong race, but Mighty Potter would certainly be the one I'd be siding with here. And I'm looking forward to what this horse can do, not just in this race but going forward. So yeah, that's my selection, Mighty Potter.
So then, on to the Ryanair Chase, a grade 1 over 2.5 miles. Unsurprisingly to some, my selection is the Nicky Henderson trained Shishkin. Shishkin's a horse I've held in high regard since the beginning of his career. He won the Supreme Novices Hurdle several years ago, and then backed up a year later in the Arkle Chase. Last season was a bit of a stop-start season for Shishkin. He missed his engagement early on in the season. He did turn up at Kempton, and then obviously went on then to face an Ergomen in the Clarence House Chase, in a race that was billed as the clash of the season. Shishkin come out on top that day, but for what penalty? A penalty that he seemed to pay a severe price for, in my opinion. It was a gruelling race, and I think that showed them when he went to Cheltenham. He wasn't the same horse. He lined up, but he was never going from the start. There clearly was an issue, and since then it's been well documented that the horse has had physical problems. Obviously, the trainer, Nicky Henderson, he's done tremendous to get the horse back. He made his return to Ascot over 2.5 miles just about a month ago now, and he won in very taking fashion. To be fair, he looks back to his absolute best. I feel the combination in trip and the horse's well-being was the reasoning behind him putting in that kind of performance again. But there is always a question mark in the back of my mind. Will he go wrong again? But until he runs, you just do not know. On ability alone, Shishkin's the best horse in the race. He had the highest rated form, both over hurdles and chases. And I don't feel it's a question of whether he's good enough to win the race. I feel it's a question of his well-being on the day. If Shishkin is spot on and puts in a performance like he did at Ascot, I'm fairly confident he'll win again. With regards to ground, I think Shishkin's a better horse on better ground, but I don't think he'll mind a little bit of dig. He just don't want extremes of ground. Of the others, they've got a little bit to find. Fury Road might be one that I'd look at for an each way kind of price. There's a couple of horses in the race that have been disappointing this season. The likes of Chacun Pour Soi, he looks like he's at the tail end of his career now. Envoy Allen's had a stop-start season, a little bit like last year really, he's struggled. And Blue Lord's a horse that looked good over 2 miles a couple of races ago, but very disappointing last time. So, as I said before, Shishkin is my selection, confident selection in this year's Ryanair Chase.
So, on to the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. My selection in this race, first and foremost, is the Gordon Elliott trained Tierpo. Tierpo's a horse that was campaigned over 2 miles last season, ended up running in the champion hurdle. On that occasion, come up short. Trip obviously a little bit short, and the horse probably found the ground a little bit too quick on that occasion. However, since stepping up in trip this year, the horse has looked a lot more comfortable, and obviously now Cheltenham has been hit with this rain softened ground. I feel it's only enhanced the horse's chances. He lined up last time. He stepped up in trip last time for the first time, where he took on obviously the 4-time Cheltenham Festival winner Honeysuckle and Classical Dream, and I feel on that occasion he proved that the trip would be no issue. He really did see the trip out well, and obviously that's now something that you can put to the back of your mind if you had any worries about it beforehand. So Tierpo is my favourite for the race, and I feel he's the one to beat. Obviously, in the race, you've got several others that you could make cases for. Horses such as Blazing Cow from the Charles Burns stable. He's looked very good, done nothing wrong to date. You've got the 2-time reigning champion, Florian Porter. Florian Porter's obviously got the best form in the race. However, he's not had the best of seasons, and he doesn't appear to be in the same kind of form he was this time last year. However, he does tend to be a spring horse, so it might not be any surprise to some that he hasn't shown his best form yet. But just to my eye and in my own opinion, I just feel he's not quite shown the same signs that he was in the past couple of seasons. But obviously you couldn't write him off, because they obviously gear him up towards this race, and this is the one day in the year where they do want him at his best for. So I wouldn't rule him out, but at the same time, I don't really fancy him this time round. Another horse in the race that's got getting on a little bit now in age, but is capable of running a big race still, but obviously will need a strong gallop. I do feel the soft ground might be beneficial to him, and that horse is Paisley Park for Emma Lavelle. He's obviously won the race in the past, and he's run some real good races over the last couple of years. But maybe might just find one or two too good at this stage of his career. But yeah, all in all, my actual selection for this race is Tierpo from Gordon Elliott.
So then, now on to the Jack de Bromhead Mares Novices Hurdle. This is a Grade 2 event over 2 miles. I have a confident selection in this year's renewal in the name of Lucia, trained by Nicky Henderson and ridden by Nico de Boinville. This horse first caught my eye around about this time last year in a Sandown bumper. It was run on testing ground, and she put a lot of distance between her and her rivals. From that moment, she went straight into my notebook for this year. She kicked off her hurdling campaign in a listed novice hurdle at Newbury. She jumped well that day in the main, and she put nice bit of distance between herself and the opposition. And she looked certainly like one that could take high rank. There was talk early December that she was going to go to the Tolworth Hurdle at Sandown and take on the boys. However, plans were put to one side after she scoped dirty leading up to the race. Obviously, she had to have a couple of weeks off just to build everything back up again, her health. But that seems to be okay now. She then went to Exeter for a listed novice hurdle, and she travelled very powerfully throughout the race, and she quickened away very smartly. To me, she looks like a horse at the world's at her feet. Obviously, there was talk again leading up to Cheltenham that she could be one for the Supreme Novices rather than the Mares Novice Hurdle, but connections have decided to go for the Mares Novice Hurdle route, which I believe is purely down to her inexperience. I feel if they'd got one more run into her, probably she would have went for the Supreme and she would have got the Mares allowance, but all in all, I think Connections have made the right decision, and she's going to line up, obviously, in this Mares Novice Hurdle. I do feel she's going to take a lot of beating in the race. She does have to give £5 away to some of her rivals, obviously carrying a penalty. But this hasn't stopped some of the top mares in the past. The likes of Limini and Lorena, they both give £5 penalties away and still went on to win this race. So where the £5 penalty might put some off, if she's as good as Connections are hoping she is, I don't think it'll be a problem. She really is regarded highly at Seven Barrows, and I feel like next season they could be aiming high with her, possibly a tilt at either the Mares Hurdle or the Champion Hurdle. But yeah, as I said, Lucia is a horse I really hold in high regard. No race is easy to win at the festival, but I certainly feel this mare is capable of doing so. So my selection for the Mares Novice Hurdle is Lucia.
Hello everybody and welcome to my preview of day 3 of the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. It's been an interesting first 2 days. I sit here recording this after my selection. Fun has just been well beaten, to be fair, in the champion bumper, but it's not all about one day and one horse. This is a long-term process. I will always say that. We'll move on to day 3. I'm going to take a look at a few races and then then Steve Allpress will be back to give his preview of day 3. And then we will both be back with some selections. So the first race I'm going to take a look at is the Turner's Novices Chase. This looks a very interesting race to me, to be honest. Headed by a horse which will be my selection for the race, Mighty Potter. He's been a revelation this year since being switched to fences. I think the last 2 starts in Grade 1 company in Ireland, I think will make him a very tough nut to crack. I mean, you look at the horse, you know, he's well bred, 164. He's proven there was a couple of yardsticks already in French Dynamite, who runs later on in the card. And, and Mighty Potter has proven to be a totally different class to them. Brighter Days Ahead is a filly that has only ran in one bumper and is also on the list to follow. Only she ran today, instead. But I do think Mighty Potter will take all the beating in this race, and the price sadly reflects that. Appreciate It, to me, won the Supreme Novices Hurdle a couple of years back and looked useful. But he is one, if people look, that his hurdle form is proved to be at this stage a lot better than his chase form. He hasn't really kicked on at all in his 3 chase starts. That to me makes him a bit vulnerable, I think. But I do think the step up in trip will definitely help him. He's 10 lengths behind the Arkle winner, El Fabiolo, on his last start. Banbridge, to me, was also 10 lengths behind in the same start. He just beat Appreciate It in a photo. And I think Banbridge is a lot more solid proposition than Appreciate It. He's beaten by 18 lengths by Mighty Potter there, but he has won at Cheltenham in the Grade 2 trial that they held in November 2022. I'm actually going to jump in there because Banbridge today, he is actually a non-runner in the Turner's Novices Chase. Banbridge. That one, really. I mean, you saw it put in its place by Jerry Colombe. Jerry Colombe ran well today in defeat, but I do think Balco Coastal might have a little bit to find. I really do. Stage Start is another one that I think is one in a handicap chase, a class 2 handicap chase in the novice handicap chase by 3.5 lengths, and that somehow has got everybody excited. There's a 4-runner race with Fabulous and Time Hill, I think, with the other 2 runners in that race at Newbury. He was a well-beaten 2-7 favourite that day, and that was him. That was him done, as far as I was concerned. James de Berle is one of my horses. I'm not going to lie to you. He's been campaigned quite strangely, I think. There was a 600-day break between his run there at Auteuil, and then March, and he ran for over a year and 3 months. And he ran 2 times in hurdles, second behind Classical Dream in the Punchestown Hurdle. And then there was another break there. That might be the 600-day break, sorry, my mistake, between the Stayers Hurdle race and his first chase victory, where he sauntered home in what looked a very moderate race, I must say. He then was thrown in rather at the deep end against Mighty Potter at the Dublin Racing Festival, but they did seem to fancy him, you know, and I can see why. They did, to be honest. Very well bred horse. I mean, there's Goliath de Burlay, a stallion in France. You know, they're all solid horses. And this one, Amis de Burles, was a group winning hurdler in France before being switched to Ireland. I'm not too sure whether they've got it in the right race. Might have thought they might have gone for the 3-miler with the horse, but they haven't. Not long till May is one I think has plenty to find, unfortunately. It's won its last 3 novice handicap chases. This is a Grade 1 chase against horses that have ran. Mighty Potter's 149, 161, you see, 164 the time before. Plenty to find anything that hasn't run to around 154.5. Unexpected Party is another one, very poor horse at this level. It's been going round nicely and respectably in races, but it's third behind John Bomb, beaten 24 lengths in a Grade 2 earlier in the season. Christopher Wood's another one, hasn't raced to above his hurdle mark yet. Over fences, you know. I do think that this race is at the mercy of the favourite. You know, it could be one of the good things of the week. I mean, people go on about the champion hurdle yesterday. Of course, that was a superb performance. You know, but then you had Gaillard de Menil in the last. And if people look at the figures of the race, of the horses in there, they have to make a good case for Mighty Potter, I think. James de Burlay, well, connections have got balls, I think. That's all I can say, because I might have looked for something a bit easier after my last run, and I hope they are rewarded for their bravery. You know, there's 9 runners. People might be able to get 4 or 5 places somewhere, and I certainly will be having an interest in that horse as well. I'm going to skip forward to the 250 now, the Ryanair Chase, one of the Grade 1 races of the day. And in this race, we have Shishkin. Shishkin has won the Arkle. He's won the Supreme Novices Hurdle. He's beaten the Energumene at Ascot. You know, this is a superb horse. He won the Ascot Chase, beating Pic D'Orhy, who's a good horse, by 16 lengths last time out, running to a magnificent figure of 178. What a superb animal this is. I mean, people are they worried about the trip? Well, they shouldn't be, really. I wasn't worried at all at Ascot. People look at the dam of Shishkin Labyrinth. You see there, the second dam, look, there's hurdlers there, look, 160 rated 3-mile hurdlers, 141 rated 3-mile 5 furlong horses. You know, to me, it was always obvious that Shishkin was going to stay the trip, and he will take all the beating here in this race. Blue Lord, to me, is an enigmatic horse. I mean, he's never one I've been with, really. He's fallen in the Supreme Novices Hurdle behind Appreciate It. He then looked to have a fantastic opportunity to win another Grade 1 chase last time out at the Dublin Festival, only to be beaten by 7 lengths by Gentleman de Me. I mean, he's not one you can ever have any confidence in, I think. At least the price is fair today. He's not one that I would ever be looking to take a short price about. Janadil beat my horse, one of my horses, Horton Couleur, last time out in a 4-runner Grade 2 race at Galvin Park. The Red Mills Chase. Before that, he'd fallen and been pulled up. So he's a solid horse. Look, if people look at the form, he was second in the race last year behind Allaho. So he has to have some. He has to enter the equations. Really does. Fury Road. Well, this is one of my old favourites, without any shadow of a doubt. I mean, to me, I'm going to open his form up just so we can have a proper look at him. I mean, I've been following him for quite a while now, since he did that in a maiden hurdle in November 2019, running to figures which would win graded hurdles today. He then did well as a graded hurdle, winning grade 3 hurdle and a grade 2 at prohibitive odds. So people have kind of always known. And then he was 4th in a red hot race at Leopardstown behind Latest Exhibition, and then 3rd, beaten the neck by Monkfish, subsequent grade 1 winning chaser, and Latest Exhibition in the 2020 Albert Bartlett. He then won the grade 2 hurdle again at prohibitive odds on, really. And then he was 4th and 2nd in a couple of hurdles of Ireland. Pulled up in the 2021 Stayers hurdle when quite fancied, and then pulled up again at Punchestown. Then the connection seemed to have a little free run for him then when they went novice chasing. He was 3rd behind Beacon Edge in a grade 1 chase before winning the Neville Hotels chase, a grade 1 at Leopardstown in December 2021. He then, a solid horse against good Irish horses, 2nd behind Ahoy Signor in the mile main novices chase, when frankly the price was ridiculous of the horse. He should never have been that price, and the talent is there. For him to go off that price in any race is dangerous. And he sort of proved that again there, look, in a 7-runner race behind Galopin de Champs, when he's been running to his career best marks in his last 2 races of 162 after winning the grade 2 chase at Down Royal, which was a nice bonus. But the pedigree of the horse, it's no surprise. The pedigree now, people will be surprised, I think, how well bred this horse is when I show you. You've got the dam there, look, Fury Road. Solid enough horses next to him. But Victorine, look, is the dam of City Island. And that one at the Cheltenham Festival, didn't it? Won the 2015 Ballymore. So you've got a Cheltenham winner on the first dam, Cheltenham winner on the second dam as well. Sorry, a Group 1 winner, Fury Road on the first dam, City Island, Group 1 winner on the second dam. If people look at the third dam, you've got Morley Street and Granville again. So it could be argued that Fury Road's not got potential yet, still to improve. He's definitely heading the right way. People look at the chasing records, that he's still only rated £3 higher than his hurdle mark. I mean, this is a horse, if people look at the pedigree and the record of the horse, it might not win every time it runs, but there is no doubt that this horse has quality. No doubt whatsoever. And it's been an absolute pleasure to follow him the last 3 and a bit years. And this will be just the icing on the cake if he can do something today in the race, of course, that the sponsors are sponsoring, the owners of Fury Road, the Bilderbergers at Gigginstown Stud. But it goes to show what you can find over the jumps if you look. And my selections in the race, we'll go back there before we do this race. I will pick Fury Road each way. Shishkin more than likely will win the race, admittedly. You've got 9 runners here, though, so you're getting at least 3 places. And if people look at the race, you've got Blue Lord, who I don't really fancy, Janadil. You know, Envoy Allen is another one. You see that I don't really fancy. Funny old horse. French Dynamite is I probably will have a look, see how many places I can get with him. Mighty Potter, it's a matinee day, isn't it? She sired 4 horses for me this year. 3 horses, and they've all won. This is the only one that I've not backed. I didn't back it when it won at Thurles. You know, it won at 11-4, and I never backed it that day. Since then, it went close at that Cheltenham in one of them handicaps they have. The horse is solid, you know, but Mighty is a bit not as good as Mighty Potter though. He's a lot older as well. But yeah, he's another one. G.A. Law. I mean, there's horses in here that you'd think you'd put the best foot forward, are capable of good performances. You know, G.A. Law is one of them inconsistent horses that I don't really fancy. People look at the figures; he's got a lot to find with Shishkin. Hitman, frustrating animal. You know, for me, I've never been with the horse, luckily. But he's always fancied. He always goes off quite short. He wins. He wins now and again, but not for me. And Chacun Pour Soi is now 11 years old, and time catches up with all of us humans and horses. And I do think Chacun Pour Soi, if people look at his last 3 runs, is marketably declining, really. He declined by 7 there, and then he declined by 11 there. I mean, the writing would be on the wall. It'd take a brave man to predict a resurgence from Chacun Pour Soi, of which I am not. So Fury Road each way, and I do a massive admirer of Shishkin as well. But on the day at value, would Fury Road be an even money shot to finish in the first three? That's what you've got to ask yourself. Very interesting race, the Ryanair, sponsored by the Bilderbergers. 3:30 at Cheltenham is the Stayers Hurdle, the feature race of the day. And this, to me, was always a race I thought at the start of the season was there for the taking. I'm not with any of the market principles apart from the favourite. Blazing Cow, to me, is another one that's quite a very well-bred horse. It's impossible, really, not to be impressed with his run in the Boyne Hurdle after such a long layoff when he sauntered home by 3 lengths, running to a career best mark of 164. That does leave him a little bit behind Tihapu, the winner of the 2020-22 Hatton's Grace Hurdle. And he did win a Grade 2 at the Galmoy Hurdle as well, over 3 miles. But you see, no guarantee to stay this trip. That's the only time he's run over 3 miles, and this is a stern stamina test, this. Blazing Cow, on the other hand, has won over 3 miles already at Cheltenham, last in 2021 at Grade 2 level, and he's also won at Cheltenham in the time before that as well. He's beat subsequent Grade 1 winner both times. Flooring Porter, to me, it could be argued aged 8. If people look at his form, I'm sure he'll have a fantastic go for his connections. I'm sure we'll have another fantastic day. But to me, he might not be the same horse. Home by the Lee has thrived this year. I don't know how he's found the improvement. You see there, look, he was being well beaten at 157, and he's gone into the 160s now with his last 2 runs where he's beaten Bob Ollinger and then a Grade 1 winner over Ashdale Bob. Classical Dream is another one that's a very enigmatic horse, age 9. Former Supreme Novices Hurdle winner on his day, anything. You pay your money and take your chance with him. Gold Tweet, the French horse, might have won a below standard renewal of the Cleve Hurdle at Cheltenham earlier, but it's good to see the French come and have a go. Rated 157, though, you see, you've got horses rated 168 of the Irish horses. Got a little bit to find, but I do think one thing you can say about the French horses, I think they will stay the trip. I think there's another one coming on further. Paisley Park, the admirable 11-year-old, inconsistent. He was very good when he won the Long Walk Hurdle, when he beat Goshen, went into 164, a mark that would have been good enough probably to get involved in last year's race. But then he threw in a 155 behind Gold Tweet. That wouldn't be good enough in there. Ashdale Bob, to me, is an interesting horse. I like this horse. I followed the horse for quite a while. I'm going to open him up because I've not given him the credit he deserves, I don't think, in this video. He always runs well at good price. That's the best thing I can say about this horse. He's very slow. I mean that in the nicest possible way, that I see him as more of a 4-mile chaser. He's got some good solid form, look here. I identified him there when he beat Fakira by 6 lengths in December 2020. He then looked as though I might have been wrong there. And then he came back and won a Grade 2 in April 2021. A nice rewarding odds. You'll see, look, very rewarding odds. 10-1 it managed to win there. And since then, really, the horse has been absolutely rock solid. It had a bad spell really over fences. Yeah, it won there. That's when I identified the horse. And its last 5 runs, look, 6 runs, 7 runs, 8 runs. It's gone off at no bigger than 9-2, and it's never been out the first 4. Ashdale Bob, an admirable horse, really, without any shadow of a doubt. But we'll look the pedigree of the horse. It was always going to be decent. Look, Ashdale Bob, 158, very good horse, but it's not a one-off. That's what you need over the jumps. Look, there's a lot of black type in this family. That one, Glenn's Melody, 153. Even Glenn's Music, rated 140, the Damlet, the second dam. Very nice horse, Ashdale Bob. And I wouldn't put anyone off each race, like I said, extra places. But Blazing Cow has to be my main selection of the race. I'm just running through the pedigree of him quickly. We never did it in the session earlier. You'll see there that Blazing Cow at 164, the first two dams. You'll be thinking there that Blazing Cow, they got Blazing Tempo there, won the Galway Plate, I think. Rated 159, that horse. So there was always a fair indicator that there could be a decent horse lurking in there. You're on a grade 2 chase there, 157. There you go, look, 2011 Galway Plate winner. Game horse. It takes a certain type of horse to win races like that out in Ireland. Big handicap chases, I think. And, so once they get to a certain level, like Blazing Cal had shown, look at his form, look. A certain level. Then you know, that's the dam. Then you know that they're towards the top end of what the pedigree is. And then it's just a matter of trying to work out what you've got. And then you've got the horse like Leading Duke. If people look at Blaze Gold, they will see that, in fact, Blazing Cow is quite closely related to Denoli. You see, so it could be argued that Blazing Cow running now to 164. Look at the horse. He's gone up 40 rating points, whatever they are, in 4 starts. They're going to run to 170 tomorrow, you'd think. Possibly. You'd think so, wouldn't you? Is anything else going to be able to beat that? It's a very interesting horse. You've got Denoli. Incredible pedigree, really, for a National Hunt horse. And the form of it, coupled with the possibility that there's 171 rated horses under the third dam, means that Blazing Cal has to be one of my selections of the week, really, at the price. You just hope that there's no market weakness on the day. Right, we're going to touch on the 410 quickly. Horton Couleur. I'm hoping here what we could have is a group horse in a handicap. You'll see the ratings. Horton Couleur is a very nice horse. There's other nice horses in there as well, obviously. It's a very competitive handicap. We're going to look at Horton Couleur, and then another one I'm going to look at is Midnight River quickly. Horton Couleur had the grade 2 at his mercy there. Janadil, as we touched on earlier, is running in the Ryanair Chase tomorrow on the same day. It's arguable that this horse was good enough to run in the Ryanair Chase. Needs to get his head in front, though, soon. And maybe the slight drop down in class to Premier Handicap from a 4-runner Irish Grade 2 race could do the trick. Nice strong pace. Plenty of runners, though. Let's see. He's novice chasing. He didn't really convince me with his jumping, that. It's a tricky horse. It's just one of them horses that could be destined to be unlucky. Midnight River is an interesting one because I actually identified it quite a while back and stuck it on the maybe list when it won here in December 2021. I looked at over 140 and above. No, it must have been when it won that race there in February 2021. Novice Hurdle is when I identified it. When it ran to 142, and I thought that could be a nice horse. They never even bothered running it in one level weights novice chase until then. They went handicap straight away. And it was moving up the rates, moving up the ratings, look. And they've got it roughly now to where I wanted it to be, where it's good enough to win. Grade 3 handicaps at Cheltenham off 155. It just took a bit longer than I'd have liked. So obviously the horse tended to sort of get forgotten. It's actually quite a well-bred horse, though, if people look. There was some very nice dams on this line that produced a lot of horses. Maybe not when you start looking at the third dam, Chichella. you get a much better impression of how well bred this horse is. Plenty of 150 rated horses like Iris Royal, Santa Chennai, Gallant Moss. Remember that one for Pipe? Yeah, but some of the dams, if people click on some of the dams, they'll see that it's not they aren't flukes. You know, if you click on these two to start off with, look, there's another one there, look, 143 rated this year. A couple of years back, Santa Chennai was a very good hurdler in France. Mar Royale, look, it's bred 4. Look, you know, they are all decent. You know, so there's always a good chance that Midnight River would be as well, and he's proving it now. And I think at that price, it's incredible that, you know, it's a fair price. You know, I don't think it's generous. It's definitely a price I'm willing to chance in a race like this. That they could know that they've got more off a mark of 152. They could know that if they look at the pedigree of the horse and they've worked the horse properly with another one of their 170 rated horses, then they'd know. And it'll be interesting to see what way this horse goes in the market tomorrow, Midnight River. I really do think that. Right, the next race I'm going to take a look at quickly before I give my selections is the 450. The Mare's Hurdle, Luckier. Seems a hot favourite, and justifiably so as well. Especially with the rain that's just starting to come. You know, there's been a bit of rain about. She's won on soft ground a couple of times. And she's rated 142, which is considerably higher than anything else in this race by a good 6 or 7. Yeah, she looks to hold obvious chance. There's not much in here that's ran to above 140 like Luckier has, that's for certain. She's beat the Colts as well, last time out by 11 lengths in a listed race at Exeter. But to me, I don't really like the pedigree of her enough to chance her in a race like this. It's not my type of horse. Yeah, it's done well on the track, but why is it doing well? You know, what makes it a good horse? I can't work it out. So I tend to just leave horses like that. Luckier Sea Lady, the second dam. It's a 103 rated flat horse. To me, this is a flatbred horse more than anything. See the top rated down the third dam rated 109. You know, I could click on these to try and get some hope. Why is it as good as it? You know, reading to me in horse racing is very important. You know, overall's everything. Oh, there you go. There's some more 100 rated flat horses there. Look. Again, 4 flat failures. A couple more flat failures. Lucky is an enigma. You know, why is she as good as them? There's nothing in her family that suggests that she is anything good. You know, so that's, to me, that makes her vulnerable. Be interesting to see how she goes. To me, I've looked at a couple of these. I'm just gonna. There's some I don't know enough about. You know, so I'm not going to really take any opinions on them at this stage. This is a sort of race where I'll be more to mind to identify the winner. Tell me Something Girl, for instance, won the race for the other year, and then I followed her after that, much to my misfortune. She didn't prove to be that good. But this is not a race that I tend to use it as a stepping stone to other things, really. So there has to be some sort of evidence somewhere along the line that these horses are better than this race. And I just don't see that with the favourite. Foxy Girl's interesting to me because on that run there, when she was second to Matilda de Burlay in Auteuil, I actually identified the winner that day before the race, and it was a well-bred horse, and it won well. And that run there might be good enough to beat these. I really do think that. But the price of it to me is a massive price on that run. I've looked at a form in Ireland somewhere, and it's not really translated. Pedigree, though, is interesting because you don't have to go far until you find Far West, a horse rated 152 with a decent strike rate. You know, so it's an interesting one, I think, Foxy Girl in this race. Another interesting one, I think, is Out of Under Control. It sauntered in the other day. That race was only 12 days ago. It absolutely sauntered in that day. It never even had a race. Absolutely cantered round. And there's no way of ascertaining that horse's potential on that run. That's for certain. So the question we need to ask ourselves is, does the Irish gambler know how good his horse is? And if so, is that price going to shorten a bit tomorrow to indicate to us that they do fancy it? The pedigree of the horse, it's from a stout Aga Khan family, solid rather than spectacular recently. It sort of gets better the further back you go. I don't know what that says about modern breeding. You've got a 100 rated flat horse there in the second dam. The third dam we're into the 110s, 109s. One thing I never did last time is click these. See what the Aga Khan's mares that are winning pattern races are producing. You see Dal Tyre, there's a 115 rated horse there. Look, Dal Kala in 109. So it's a decent enough flat line back in around 2010. Dalgo, I remember that one. Wasn't a very good horse. But so you see that there's some that have been about. That one there has only bred one horse. Then you've got Del Taba as well. You've got 150 rated jump horse there. Just what we wanted to see. Look, Dawalan with a 33% strike rate. You know, if Henderson must remember that horse. You know, he seems to be the man that remembers every horse that he's trained when he interviews him. If he knows how good that horse could have been, remembered. And then you've got Daylami and Dalakani, look. You know, and a 150 rated hurdler. So if this horse has somehow gone through the generations and is there, then it has a fantastic chance in this race. But there's no way it wins at that price. I don't think it's going to have to constrict for Ireland's biggest gambler to think it's got a chance. Fascinating race. I always enjoy this race. This year, I don't think it's the strongest renewal, if I'm honest, moving forward, apart from a couple. There's no ones that I've seen. There's no real obvious ones. I'll touch on the Model Kingdom. That was another one I'd followed when it was in bumpers, really. It ran quite well. But the horse is related to horses rated 140, 150 in the family, second, third, and dam. And it's still going round in the 130s, you know. It's only 6.5 lengths behind Impere Pass when it won last time out. But Impere Pass won easy. You know, that is a big price, I think. The rest of them I'll watch go round and watch them develop, I think. Very interesting race, though, moving forward normally for me, this. Especially with the mares' chases coming in. You know, because a lot of these might be future chases. They might want a lot further. They might, you know, got to watch this race now. It's a very pivotal race in the next 3 or 4 years. You'll see, I think, if someone was to write these down and come back to them in 4 or 5 years' time, I bet you get a lot of graded winners out of them. Jatara is one that I noticed earlier. That's related to Jet, a classic example of the sort of horse I was on about. Jet is a 3-4 mile chaser and related to Jeski that won the Stayers Hurdle, you know, 25 to 1. And it's only got 9 to find with Lucker on its run behind Ashrow Diamond. And it also chased home a horse good enough to run in the Supreme called High Definition and has beaten Lily de Burley in a National Hunt flat race. Lily de Burley was second behind Fun 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 in a Grade 2 and won back-to-back run-ins of the £59,000 bumper that they run in Ireland. You know, there's some very nice horses in this line that I will be watching and see what the market makes of them. But moving on to my selections for the day now, I think in the 130, you're going to give to win the race, Mighty Potter. I know he's very short. Races like this, people just need to be sensible. You know, look at the form and go from there. Look at their bankroll, and it's a risky bet. Any bet is risky. You know, any bet is risky, of course. Do I think the horse will win this race? Yes, but I thought the other four would win, and none of them have. You know, nobody knows everything. Least of all me. I know that. I learn every race I watch. James de Burley would be a very risky multi-place bet. I wouldn't. Connections to me must have balls of steel to run that horse tomorrow. I think. To me, it's just screaming out 2 runs after 600 days. Ease it in, Grade 3, Grade 2. But no, they come back for more. They deserve credit for that. And I'll back it anyway, because I'll be following the horse anyway, because I do like the horse. Fury Road, each way against a worthy favourite in Shishkin. Shishkin is short. I've never really liked betting short price horses, never have done. I remember reading a book when I was a teenager, by a man called Alan Potts, not the owner of horses, a professional gambler. He wrote a book, and he said 2-1. Don't back anything under 2-1 ever, and you'll do all right. And to be honest, I don't think he's far wrong. In the stayers, 3:30, Blazing Cow. Hopefully, it won't be weak in the market, because I think it's my horse of the week. I'm really looking forward to this horse. In the YouTube videos that we've done, it's the only horse I've identified that is running outside of novice company or in bumpers. It's the furthest down the line. It's won twice at Cheltenham. Well-bred horse related to Denoli. What more could anybody want? Ashdale Bob, each way. I'm going to take each way if I can extra places, because the horse has just been so solid for me. For a minute there in his last run against home in the league, I thought he was going to win. But it goes back to what I say. In the nicest possible way, the horse is so slow that if they can somehow get this horse jumping and running in these 4-mile chases, I would be fascinated to see how he would go in then. But that's all for further down the line, hopefully one day. 4:10, I'm going to give a couple of each way selections here, very small stakes in what is an ultra competitive race, is how we'll be doing. It's not a single one-day process for me, this. Slow and steady accumulation is hopefully the way forward. Obviously, Horton Colours each way could easily be proved to be a group horse in a handicap. And if he comes to the last on the bridle, jumps it and goes away, the whole world will say, well, why were we not on that? All they had to do was watch his run when he sadly didn't clear the last against Janadil. Midnight River, slow but steady progression. Has he been named at the race by the Skelton? I will chance him each way and find out. And then, last but not least, in the 450, very small stakes again this race, just for interest, to maintain my interest in these horses moving forward, really. Because I try and monitor the moving forward of every horse I have an interest in, for at least 2 or 3 or 4 runs. If they run in the right sort of races, ideally non-handicaps. Under Control is definitely got to be one. Is that called Under Control or Out of Control? I've got to be careful there. Under Control. Very good, strong Aga Khan family. I like the family. And if Ireland's biggest gambler shows any confidence in it whatsoever, that'll be good enough for me. And Foxy Girl in the same race with extra places each way. I do think there is enough in her pedigree, coupled with her run behind Matilda Duberlet, to give her some sort of optimism. All right, that's my selections for the day then. I will now hand over to Steve Allpress. Can I just say thank you very much to Steve for doing the preview of the day earlier. And now I will say goodbye to everybody, because I know Steve pre-records his segments. I will also say goodbye on behalf of Steve. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Good luck, everybody. Have a fantastic day. The last 2 days have been good. I always enjoy racing of good quality. But it's about time the cream started rising to the top, I think, now, after 2 days. So we'll see how we get on. All right, take care, everybody. You look after yourselves.
So then, they're my thoughts for the races for day 3. Now I'm going to give you my winning each way selections. It's pretty tricky here for my win selection, because I really do like both Mighty Potter and Lucia. But I'm only going to go with one, and I'm going to go with Lucia. She's my win selection for day 3. I hold her in massive regard, and I really do feel she could be a horse to keep on the right side of. So she is my win selection. My each way selection, not the biggest price, but still probably just scrapes in for an each way selection. That would be Tierpo in the Stayers Hurdle. I think maybe if you shop around, you'll be able to get like around 5-1. So yeah, those are my 2 selections. Lucia, my win, and Tierpo, my each way. So thanks very much for having me on again, and I look forward to joining you once again for the final day of the festival. Look forward to it. Speak soon. Thank you.
Hello everybody and welcome back. That was the Reprieve Media CIC double handful coverage of the 2023 Cheltenham Festival with myself, the Director and Secretary of Reprieve Media CIC, Paul Newman, and my co-host, Steve Allpress. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Can I just we've had some sort of a follower on Twitch. So I've seen enough of these broadcasts to know that when somebody follows you on Twitch, you have to thank them. So Linguo0147, thank you very much for the follow. That is the 4th follow we've got for some reason. So like I said, slow but steady accumulation will be the way. Right, before we look at a quick look at the markets, I'm gonna expose my own business here. Basically, I need the mouse off the other computer onto this one to scroll through the screen. Usually I'm all up and running on things like this, and the mouse is ready for when myself and Steve have finished giving our previews. But this time it isn't. So if you bear with us for a second, and we will be back shortly. Again, you see, this can so glitchy today with all these websites open and that. It's very glitchy. And press the button. I'm moving the mouse. Oh yes, because I'm actually on the wrong computer. So that's the trouble, you see. And welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be. Right. That was a bit of a malarkey, wasn't it, boys and girls? But I think we are back now, and we are. Don't forget, join the Reprieve Media. People are always free to visit the Reprieve Media CIC website. It is available at reprievemediacic.epeasy.com. Right, time's getting on now. We're just about 70 minutes away from the first race on day 3 of the Cheltenham Festival. So let's have a quick ganders at the market, and then we will stop this stream and crack on. The first race of the day is the 130, as we know now, the 2 mile 4 furlong turners. £1,473,995 are currently matched on this race, and we have an odds-on favourite, Mighty Potter, the 1.8 favourite. Appreciate It is 4.2, and they are the only 2 horses in single figures, with the non-runner Banbridge declared a non-runner, and Christopher Wood also declared a non-runner. Stage Star is 10.5, and Balco Coastal is 19-1. Let's now have a quick look at the Pertemps, the 210, over £540,000 matched on the race. We have 2 in single figures. Thanks for the Help, owned by Ireland's biggest gambler, JP McManus. That is a 5.2 chance. And just coming in there, just as we saw, live market movements there on double handful. Maxim, Davy Russell's mount, into 7.8. The other 3 below 14s, we have Walking on Air, who's 12s, out of refinement. Salvador Ziggy, 13.5. And Good Time Johnny is also 13.5. Quick look now at the first Group 1 race of the day. Sorry, the Ryanair chase is not the first Group 1 of the day, the Turners is. Nearly £780,000 have been matched on this race at this point, and we have as favourite just above evens. Shishkin is 2.18, with Blue Lord 7.2 and Janadil 8.4. They are the only 3 in single figures. Envoy Allen is 12.5 and Fury Road is 13.5. The rest are quite big prices. The next one, the 330, the Stayers Hurdle, £630,000 matched on the race currently. And Tia Poo, I'm afraid Steve said you were looking at around 5-1. It might have been that last night, but all the fives have gone, and Tia Poo is now available to be laid at 3.85. Blazing Coal, my selection for the race, is the second favourite at 5.5. The French horse is higher in the market than what I expected. Gold Tweet, Johnny Sharon's mount, 6.6. And then the other 2, there's 3 around the 10-1 mark. Flooring Porter, 9.2. Home by the Lees is 10s. And Classical Dreams is 10.5s. We're going to actually leave the stream there because I've been caught short and need the toilet. The beauty of streaming live. Thank you very much, everybody. The stream is now done. Thank you.